Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Life After Undergrad, Season 3, Episode 3. I am Chanel Manso, a licensed master social worker, graduate student, graduate assistant, and most importantly, your host today. Now, let's get into our previous episode recap. Before we get into today's reflection, let's take a moment to revisit yesterday's episode. Grace and awareness. We talked about how awareness is the mirror moment, the one that helps you see yourself clearly without judgment. It's not about being critical of what you notice, but about being compassionate, graceful. Because grace and awareness go hand in hand. Awareness helps you see the truth, and grace helps you hold it gently. And that awareness naturally leads to today's theme, grace and self-discovery. Because once you start seeing yourself clearly, you begin the journey of learning who you really are beyond expectations, titles, and routines, right? Is it yourself? It's the moment you realize that growth isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been underneath everything the world told you to be. When we're young, we start life so sure of what we love: dancing, drawing, dreaming, storytelling. Then life happens, expectations set in. People start telling us what we should do, what's realistic, or what success is supposed to look like. And somewhere along the way, we forget. We forget the version of ourselves that was curious, passionate, and bold enough to believe anything was possible. That's where grace and self-discovery steps in. It invites you to return to yourself. There was a time I realized I had been living in autopilot, doing things because they made sense, not because they made me feel alive. I had checked all the boxes that were supposed to make me happy, but something still felt off. And when I slowed down enough to ask myself why, I realized I was living for validation, not alignment. That was my wake-up call, my moment of self-discovery. Not a big dramatic moment, just an honest one. I sat down one day and asked, what do I really love? And the answer wasn't something new. It was something I had loved all along, but something stopped me from believing this was practical or maybe even an option at hand. That's the thing about self-discovery. It's not about finding something out. It's about reconnecting to what's already in here, inside you. Grace helps you do that without rushing the process, because discovering yourself isn't a race. It's a relationship. It's a project. You're learning your rhythms, your needs, your boundaries, your voice. And like any relationship or project, it takes time, patience, and honesty if it's going to work out, if it's going to get an A. There are a few layers to this kind of growth, and grace touches each one. Rediscovery of values. Ask yourself, what truly matters to you? Not to your parents, your professor, your friends, any family or friends, but to you. Grace gives you space to separate who you are from who you were told to be. Reconnect with passion. There's something powerful about going back to things that once made you feel alive. Even if you can't do them the same way anymore, reconnecting with that energy, that spark, reminds you of your authenticity, a part of you, rebuilding confidence. Self-discovery can feel uncertain at first. You might question if you're doing the right thing, but grace says you're doing fine. Confidence grows not from perfection, but from consistency, from showing up for yourself again and again and again. The next one I want to talk about is releasing comparison. This one's tough. We often, in this society, especially with social media, measure our self-discovery journey against other people's highlight reels. But grace reminds us that our timing is not their timing. Our timeline is our own. You're not late. You're in alignment. Today, I want you to think about these few questions. You don't have to answer them right away, but think about them and then write it down for later. These few prompts will help you explore you with grace. Ask yourself, who am I becoming right now? And does this feel aligned with who I want to be? What parts of myself have I outgrown? And what parts am I ready to return to? When was the last time I felt like myself? And what was I doing? How can I give myself permission to evolve without guilt? Sometimes reflection isn't just about writing, it's about thinking. It's about noticing. It's about stirring up what's inside you. So take a deep breath and just think about that. Think about these questions. Think about you. What is inside you? Self-discovery is a journey of grace. It's messy, it's uncomfortable, and it's beautifully human. You're not supposed to have all the answers. You're supposed to stay curious enough to keep learning. And grace reminds you that every version of yourself, past, present, and future, has value. Even the versions that made mistakes, even the ones that were unsure, unconfident, even the ones that didn't know what came next. You're allowed to be a work in progress and a masterpiece at the same time. So today, I invite you to meet yourself with grace. Not the version of you that's figured it out, but the one who's still unfolding, still exploring what it means to be whole, free, and fully seen. Because that version, the one asking the questions, making the effort, and choosing awareness, that's the real you. And that's where grace lives. As we wrap up today, I want to thank you so much for staying tuned to this third episode in this third season of the 12 Days of Grace series. If you're interested in staying up to date with the most recent uploads, recent posts, feel free to follow at TVSWCT on Instagram, TikTok, Twitch, LinkedIn, YouTube. And if you're interested in listening to our podcast on Spotify, follow Life After Undergrad. Until next time, stay strong, stay graceful. See ya.